Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's good to be here and I'm glad you're here with me today. Bringing you some more Terracards content on the channel. And surprisingly, we're not going to do a challenge run today. In fact, I haven't done a challenge run in a while, so maybe this is kind of more of the standard, at least lately. That's okay. I'm thinking I probably should do another challenge run here soon, but what we're going to do is we're going to play around, and we're going to play around with a focus today. And our focus is going to be how strong can we possibly make the veganism buff, right? So the veganism it's an essence reward. If you're unaware, it's an essence reward that is very, 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 very strong. It quadruples the production of every plant as long as you don't have an animal. Animals aren't in the cards. We're going just straight crops here, and I want to see just how we can maximize this. How much can we maximize it? Right? How much does it break the game? What are the most lucrative crops to go with? And kind of what are we looking at as the turns progress on, right? How future-proof is it? The typical things we sort of look at when we kind of analyze a Terracards build. So that's what we're doing today. Obviously, a key component of that is to get the veganism essence reward. It is absolutely not guaranteed. In fact, there's many essence rewards available. So I will take ones that are even non-beneficial as long as they're not detrimental. I will take ones that are non-beneficial just to get them off the board so we don't, see them again in the next 20 turns, right? So the goal here, folks, is to get the veganism essence reward and to see how nuclear we can take it, right? Can we take it to the moon? Can we take it beyond the moon? Can we take it to Pluto, the planet that once was, right? We'll see, and we're going to find out today. That being said, if you're new here, please do like and subscribe. Really appreciate you stopping by the channel and checking out the content today. I'm a new channel here, just trying to bring some good vibes and some good gaming to the world. If I'm achieving that, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps a new channel like mine out. With that said, we are going to take blue wheat without question. And if you've seen my videos before, then you're well aware of the power that the blue wheat truly has, especially when paired with the watery tree. I mean, it's really like your double solution for both water and energy. All you gotta do is pair it with some sunflowers and things tend to go very well from there. Obviously, water is essential in building out further production chains and getting more islands and getting more crops. We're going to have a lot of crops today here, folks, so that's what we're looking at. For our first essence reward, we do get 3 that don't really benefit us. In fact, they all benefit animals. That's okay. We are going to take one, like I mentioned. So we'll do the popcorn buff, just because who doesn't like popcorn, right? And that will at least get the popcorn buff off the board. So in another 20 turns, when we have another roll at it, we don't get the same buff available for us. Because we're really, really looking for veganism here. And as anticipated, right? No fences, no animals, no cows, no chickens, none of that stuff. Nothing that goes into a fence will be used in this particular build of the game. And we want to take veganism and we want to take that to the moon. So let's see what we're capable of here. Definitely going to try to just kind of speed up the early game builds and limit the in-depth analysis that I'm sort of known for. Definitely going to try to just kind of keep things moving along here. Nobody needs a 90-minute Terracards video. So we're just going to keep popping in islands here. We will be able to use production buildings, of course. I like the idea of maybe some of the wheat builds. Wheat and flour builds, that is. Maybe we can get some artisan bread production going down, or just regular bread. Don't often use the oven. I'd like to use that a little bit more. All of these are, of course, fair game because they're not of the vegan variety. So field peanuts aren't really necessary at this current juncture. Let's re-roll into something. Like, what are we looking for here? I like to maybe add some fruits variety to the game. I like apples. I realize apples do go well with cows. Cows are off the board, but maybe there's something we can do with a little apple action. We'll have to see. I think there are varieties. I like the idea of, juicing and aging. Let's go corn here. In fact, let's get a nice variety of all of our fine ingredients, such as corn, such as carrots. Let's go peanuts, right? Let's just take all of these crops with us on our journey into the upper atmosphere. Giant carrot, it's not going to do us much good right now. Let's definitely take some more blue wheat. We can just continue to pump that into meaningful energy production for our next. Again, we get a bunch of ones that work with animals the best, so we're not really going to be able to benefit from that at all. Haven't even sniffed the idea of veganism yet, but that's okay. Knowing my luck, it'll come on day 200, like it normally does. More sunflowers, don't mind if I do. I mean, when the game gives you a strong energy and water infrastructure, it's wise that you just take it, folks. Just take it and run with it. It is certainly the smart thing to do. So in this game, when you no longer have to worry about water, then you are what they call sitting pretty, for sure. Lake. I mean, more blue wheat. Goodness gracious. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Take some more blue wheat. Why not? Got dual sunflower islands here. I'll try to fill out one before moving on to the other. Well, that's okay. It's all energy and water in the end. More wheat, more peanuts. We're gonna have to start getting some meaningful crops. Like corn does well, especially when it's kind of paired up with one another. I think we can go peanuts because peanuts will work in a melter and a crusher. So I think we probably have a future play here with some peanut butter production, which should do well in theory. We just have to get it off the ground. We have to get the right card draws, and more importantly, we have to get the right structures. So we do get the crusher right here. Why don't we go ahead and take that crusher and let's put it right here, because the crusher, of course, will turn peanuts into crushed peanuts. And we want to see that. It's going to be our first kind of level 2 production product, if you will. Crusher has a measly range of 1. For people that are interested, when you put a structure on an island, the islands that light up are the islands that the structure affects. There's been a few questions on Reddit on that topic, like how do you understand the range of a building, essentially, and that is a definite way that you can figure that out. So just hover that structure over the island and you'll see. It doesn't work with all structures though, unfortunately. So olive trees here, we could get this. This goes in the crusher. Or we could just go water tank. Let's go water tank. I like that play more. Maybe there's a future spot for olives on our nice little harmonious farm here, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out real soon. Let's throw another blue wheat island right there. Continue filling out our sunflowers. You just love to see it, folks. Nice harmonious sunflowers and blue wheat. Who would have thought? It's such a outstanding combo. So we do get the melter here. We can go ahead and add this melter, and then we'll be able to see the structure range at work here again. So here's another demonstration for some folks that are maybe newer to the game. So the melter has a range of 2. So if I put it right here, as you can see, it's going to get both of these peanut islands, and it actually has a nice little diamond shape around it. So the melter has a lot of range on it, and that is range to be used in the future for sure. So we're starting to get some peanut butter production. Not a ton, but some. And we do have a nice little spot in the future for more peanuts. So let's go ahead and roll. I mean, melter and crusher, we've kind of seen these things before. We could go olive tree here. I mean, the olive tree's there. It's not one I often use. And ladies and gentlemen, we get it. Veganism. There is no animal in the farm. 4 times production to all crops. That means a peanut that produces 2 per turn is going to produce 8. We just can't put any animals down, and we don't intend to. This is big. We get veganism on day 60. You love to see that, folks. Absolutely, you love to see it. So I think what we'll do here is we will... So I like the idea of maybe getting a little mill set up here. Maybe a little crusher set up in here. So let's go ahead and put some olive trees right here and get another crusher in the future. So put crusher on the list of items that we need for sure. And just look at this mighty production all around. I mean, these blue wheat alone are producing 92 per plant. You'll love to see it, folks. Do have some sugar cane here. I think sugar cane's another big one, but we do have access to more peanuts. We're going to go ahead and take more peanuts. I think it's kind of an early staple for us here. Especially with the water tank. I mean, 88 peanuts per plant. That's just insane. Why not take advantage of the water tank? Definitely one of my favorite newer cards added to the game. Apple tree here. Sure, why not? We're rocking veganism. We're going to get some great production out of just an apple tree with very little buffs beyond the veganism buff. So we'll go ahead and take that. Sure. We could throw that maybe right here. So it ultimately needs a juicer and a fermenter. So we could throw that maybe right here, right here. We could maybe share an island with the olive trees, or do we want to go all in on olive trees there? I kind of like the idea of going all in on olive trees there. So why don't we go ahead and just pop our apple production right here, and we can create a little juicing area of islands right there. So any structure that will benefit from the juicer can go there and should be fine. So let's keep placing our very lucrative and high producing peanuts. Let's get some more apples too. We're doing outstanding on water, making almost 10,000 per turn, so we don't really need to focus on that. We do get 2 juicers here. We also get 16 sugarcane, which is that's a big number, folks. I'm going to take the juicer, and we will definitely consider sugarcane in the near future here. So let's just roll by. 24k coming off the books, but we're still looking good. Let's keep playing our apple trees, our lovely apple trees. When you were growing up, did you have an apple tree on your property? I know I did. I always loved going down there with my sisters and picking some apples. Just one of those memories that sticks with you, you know? So let's go ahead and get a juicer down here. We can start juicing some of this stuff. We actually did get 2 juicers as mentioned before. So this is going to be a good spot for a mill. We can kind of fill out the rest of the adjacency with wheat and start making some flour. So you'll love to see when you get a few of the advanced production buildings that you need. More blue wheat, not essential really by any stretch, unless we wanted to start putting it down here. Just regular wheat at 6 a stack. That's not great. It's actually quite underwhelming. We could go with the crusher here. Why don't we take that? Crusher's gonna go well. So I plan to maybe juice some sugarcane here. Yeah, so let's juice some sugarcane here. Although we do have a juicer here as well. Why don't we set up another juicer right here? We'll also put a crusher here to crush our olives. We'll hold on to our last crusher there. Electric carrot, we don't need that. We can grab more peanuts. It's kind of a staple in our harmonious little colony here. Next up, we get Paste Bloom, Rabbit Apprentice, or Going Wide. We're going to take Paste Bloom for sure. Paste Bloom will make our sunflowers produce more lucrative products. You love to see that. centrifuge here, so we do have... So this will give us olive oil production, so I'll go ahead and take the centrifuge as well. I think it's a great card to have. Great structure to get out there early on, especially because it is a large structure, so you want to make sure you have room for it. So our olives are being crushed down right here. We could actually throw the centrifuge right here without much of an issue. Now we're going to get some olive oil production. You'll love to see that. Let's go grapes. We do have a juicing operation going on, and we'll keep our eyes out for a fermenter here. But we can go grapes right here. We could go grapes right here as well. Why don't we throw it right here? This kind of seems like a potentially important spot for maybe another type of crop in the future. I'd like to maybe even get into playing around with transport tubes too. Through there, they start showing up eventually. You can grab giant sunflower here for sure. But transport tubes begin to show up. I believe they'll start showing up relatively soon here. And, you know, what do? Like, how do we make use of them? I'd like to be able to make use of them, to be honest with you. So why don't we throw our giant sunflower down? We could go right here or right here with it. Why don't we go right here with it? That'll be good. Lake crab, giant chicken, blue wheat. We have more blue wheat. We do need fuel. Low-key, need some fuel. Get another centrifuge. Don't need that. Get some sugar cane here. So we're going to take the sugar cane. And we're actually going to juice our sugar cane right here. That's kind of why I put that juicer there in the first place. The sugar cane does get a bonus if it's adjacent to islands with structures on them, which we have there. So the sugar cane should be pretty mighty, especially with the veganism buff. Yeah, 64 there. You'll love to see that, folks. Fuel corn is a great solution. Fuel wheat is even a better solution for our fuel woes here. So we're going to get that down. And we're going to get our production buildings back online and operational. So fuel wheat, we'll take that pretty much whenever we see it for the first couple of turns, because we have a bit of a deficit to roll out of here. Don't need the juicer. Let's go with more grapes. Absolutely. Who doesn't like some grapes? And furthermore, who doesn't like a nice glass of wine once we get there in the future? Or in our case, bottle of wine, I should say. We don't just cut it off at the glass. We go for the full bottle on this farm. We're vegans. What else would we do? LOL. More grapes. Yep, you betcha. And let's get an idea here. So with veganism, these grapes are pumping out 8 per. So you'll have to see that, folks. And what do we get? We get tropical soil plus 12 value to every item a crop produced, but double water cost. That is not a problem. We're getting a little under 10,000 water per turn. So we can actually just go nuts with this. So we have 2 really good essence rewards for the type of build we're doing. And that is, of course, tropical soil and veganism. The most important one by far. It's probably the only reason we haven't gone broke yet, to be honest with you. Because otherwise, these crops in their most basic form just don't necessarily produce all that well. More grapes. I mean, the game's kind of telling us to just, like, go all in on the grapes. So why not? Sometimes you gotta listen to what the game tells you. And we're gonna listen. So we could go grapes here. We do need a fermenter for sure. I mean, this is a good future spot for some more apple trees. We could throw the grapes on this island alone. I mean, really, you need the juicer, the fermenter, and the ager. So we do have some extra space on this island, transparently. So why don't we just throw our grapes right here? I don't know what I'm going to do with this tile yet, but like I said, maybe there's a play with a transport tube on this island here. I'd like to play around with the transport tube if we have the opportunity. Alright, so we could grab more wheat for some more flour, but let's look for something a little more impactful. Peanuts are impactful for sure. So we're gonna take some more peanuts. Continue to fill out our grapes. Make our Welch's grape juice. Anybody a fan of the Welch's grape juice? Solid grape juice for sure. Let's go with some more sunflowers. And of course we do have fuel woes that we need to solve as well. So we're going to be looking into solving those as soon as possible. And like I said, I believe the key there is going to be... Whoops, let's not buy that island just yet. I believe the key there is going to be fuel wheat, because the fuel wheat can actually be processed into flour as well, which is an item we're producing. So we'd kind of be foolish not to go fuel wheat if we see it. But we do have a water tank right here. A water tank is excellent. We're going to grab that. Probably throw it right here with our apple trees. Otherwise, there's a play with the sugar cane here too. So we have some options. We definitely have some options with the water tank. It's a wonderful structure. You'll love to see the water tank, folks. It's one of those cards that I find myself just on an increasing basis grabbing. So the oven is a key component to just the regular bread, right? But the dough, which is the fermenter and the flour and the sugar. Okay. So what we need is a fermenter. This oven, not really useful to us right now. We do get more apple trees, but we also get another water tank. So I'm going to go ahead and take another water tank, which is going to send our production to the moon, wherever we choose to play it. So I love the idea of getting down water tank on this nice apple tree plot right here. 88. That's insane. Veganism times 4, right? And let's throw another one down right here and watch what it does to these sugarcane. 148. Just monstrous. But you love to see it, folks. More sugarcane. Do not mind if I do. That sounds like a tremendous idea. So we can line more sugarcane right here. We could look for another juicer and put some right here. I think right here is a pretty strong spot for it. So why don't we throw more sugarcane right here? Or actually, I should probably fill out the sugarcane island first. That is an oversight on my part for sure. We could go silo. Let's see, do we have a decent spot for a silo? I mean, right here wouldn't be a terrible spot for a silo, admittedly. So let's go ahead and grab silo. Let's grab Peanut Fest here too, given peanut it's a staple. Still figuring out what to do with my last grape here, but a silo is going to, it doubles the production of your wheat. So that's going to really make our wheat plants on the adjacent islands strong. You'll love to see that, which will ultimately lead to more flour. And you know, if we can get some kind of, let's grab sunflowers here. If we can get some kind of artisan bread production line off the ground, I think we can take this into orbit here. I mean, the plan's the moon, right? We like to have high aspirations on this channel, so you know, maybe we go to, let's say Mars, right? In all realism, maybe we could shoot for Jupiter, Saturn, who knows? We get more grapes here. It's kind of like, it's just more, seems to be more obvious that that island needs to be grapes, but I'm actually gonna just roll here. So we do get, we do get the gnome, but the gnome needs a fence. That's classified as an animal. That is not veganism at all, not vegan enough. But the transport tube, however, folks, the transport tube is something that we're going to grab because I'd love to play around with that. Kind of see how that turns out. I haven't really figured out what we're going to do with it yet. do have a mighty full island of sugarcane here, just rocking out the 148. Let me just take a quick peek here at our sugarcane. So sugarcane to the juicer to the melter. Okay, so we need a melter on the island. So let's get a melter when we can. And then with the centrifuge we have in place already, we're going to get that raw sugar. Raw sugar will go into the fermenter with the flour that we're producing copious amounts of. Make that bread. We already have the olive oil being made, but we need an ager. So we need a fermenter, a melter, and an ager on this island. And this island here. So let's get all of that stuff in place. Actually, we can put the ager down here, melter up here. Either way, it's going to have to ping pong a little bit. But we also have the transport tube here. So there's definitely something that we could utilize here to pull more resources from these adjacent islands that aren't necessarily adjacent with the centrifuge. So I'm going to play the transport tube right here. Or do we play it right here? So if we play it right here, what is this going to give us? Let's think about this for a second. If we play it right here, we can put more sugarcane here and here, which should feed in. I'm gonna put it right here. That was my initial thought. Here's our melter. We'll go ahead and take that melter, sure. That was my initial thought. I've learned in life not to go against your gut, right? You get that gut feeling, you get that initial instinct. The initial instinct was to put the transport tube there, and good things will happen. Well, we're waiting on the good things now, but you know, we did put that down and then we immediately got the melter, right? So that's a good thing. Could go with the juicer. We've been getting plenty of grapes. Could start a new little grape island, but what we really need is the fermenter or the ager. Preferably the fermenter. Go ahead and grab the apple tree. Makes no sense to spend, you know, $1 billion re-rolling this turn. And I think what we can do to preserve this island here, I don't know what I want to do with it yet, as I've said multiple times. But why don't we go ahead and just start a new juicing operation right here. Let's grab more sugarcane. Absolutely. Sugarcane has been made a lot better in just a few updates. It's much more viable. And it does lead to some cool, like, further production, buildings, and products that we're almost there for. So flush, I don't like that at all. Black water, it's not going to do much for us. The miracle, I mean, the miracle you could argue would be the way to go with our insane water surplus right now. But I love having a water surplus. But do we take the miracle? I mean, we almost have 1 million water. Do we take the miracle? I'm gonna take black water. I've had bad experiences with that essence reward. I've had it where it takes all of your water surplus, and then it actually puts you at a shortage. And there's just, I got trust issues with this game, you know, just a bit of trust issues, right, here and there. Understanding exactly what all the mechanics do. I don't necessarily trust that everything does exactly as it states on the card. So we're gonna play it safe here. Wouldn't want to tank the run, tank such a promising run so early on. I could go fuel corn here. I mean, we kind of need to, because we're struggling on fuel, which means we're not getting any flour production at all, because the mill requires fuel. Flour is kind of important as we think about taking this to the next level. If we put some fuel corn here, I do understand it's not going to get the buff by being placed around the rest of the corn, but it is going to solve our fuel troubles, which is what ultimately we're trying to do. So I call it a win. Water tank, yeah, absolutely. we'll take that water tank every single time. Continue to build some corn islands. Fuel corn goes there. Apple trees go here. How are the apple trees looking? Looking decent. Gonna want to just keep building them out, of course. Okay, so now for our sugarcane. Let's think about this. So if we put it here, if we put sugarcane right here, it feeds into the transport tube, right? And then it goes down to the juicer. Right? We're gonna find out. We're gonna test the viability of this transport tube, which is a very useful item when you are just getting, when you're not getting the structures that you need. So there it goes. So it looks like it's working exactly as I anticipated it should, which is great. You'll love to see that. You love to see like your logic and reasoning kind of working in your favor, right? Crap collector, we could go with that, but we don't have any animals, so that's not going to be very useful to us. Here is the ager. We actually need a few of these, so let's definitely take that one. We need one for our aged apple or fermented apple cider. But more importantly, we need one right here for our olives. So likewise, if we can get olive trees right here as well, it'll feed into this. So the transport tube kind of makes an extension for you. I knew it was useful. I just hadn't played around with it too much. Hadn't had a chance to use it too often. But here we go. It's coming full circle for us. Do have a silo here. What should we do with the silo? That's a good sunflower spot right here. Why don't we throw the silo right there? That's fine. Give us some more blue wheat production, as well as water and energy because it's adjacent to sunflowers. Carrots, we kind of went away from the carrot build, didn't we? Transport tube, do we grab another one and just kind of see what our opportunities might be with it? I think we do. So if we put a transport tube on this island here, then we can theoretically chain another, right? Like, I'm thinking about that right. Some of you people watching this are probably just going mad right now, being like, dude, you just don't understand. Takes all items produced in one island range and outputs them to structures with the range. Can't get items from another transport tube. Okay, never mind. So you can't just chain a bunch of transport tubes together. You have to have them separate. But what it would allow us to do is if we put one right here on this island with our olive trees, right? Then we could build in another island right here to feed into our centralized production. So that is certainly an option for us. In fact, why don't we do that? It's only taking up one spot. That's one olive tree. When maybe you could get another, full island of olive trees to kind of all play into the same production chain that you built. Because anybody who's played the game understands that your island space fills up quickly, and then you find yourself regretting the placement of either this or that, and you'd like to maybe switch some things around, but you just don't have the opportunity to do so. So let's go with the... Could go melter here. Start making some popcorn. We do have enough corn islands to really justify that, so let's go ahead and grab the melter. Energy spring. Everything that produces water now produces energy. So what this is going to do is destroy our water production. I mean, it does go with crops, right? 6 times production. Oh man, that one's a hard one to turn down. We're gonna go dealer's hand though. I think we have enough water to kind of last until what, end game? Maybe that's famous last words. But we're not gonna screw around with that. We're not gonna screw around with that. I've actually been burned by that essence reward more times than I care to admit, because it looks so good. Like, you have to kind of slow down and read it closely, right? It looks so good though. So you're like, oh yeah, 6 times production, of course. Like, I'm all over that. But you have to slow down and read it. Otherwise, you'll be like, okay, I select this essence reward. Can't wait to check my production output and, you know, income. And then you realize you're minus 2,000 in water. Just hemorrhaging water. Beans, I mean, there's certainly a play for, like, beans are okay. They're not great, they're okay. I'd like to see kind of what uses they have more of it in the future. Let's go with 2 water tanks. It's just too hard to turn down 2 water tanks. We have opportunity for the water tanks here right now. Still haven't seen a fermenter, I don't believe. I don't even know if we've rolled past one. I don't even think we've seen one yet in this game. So I'd like to kind of roll into a fermenter if possible. Could go double water tank here. Or do we save our water tank for another future sugarcane island? If we put a sugarcane island right here to feed in the transport tube, or right here, it's going to get just this huge adjacency buff, right? Why don't we save the water tank? I think going... Going 2 water tanks on an apple tree island seems a little excessive to me. Gotta think about that for a second. Like, how do I actually feel about that? I feel like it's a little excessive. Alright, 1.43 mil, not a problem. In fact, we're just crushing it here. I mean, frankly, we're crushing it. We're doing great. We haven't even produced really a very advanced product. We finally get the fermenter. It's day 171. And we're looking at one of the basic kind of first, 30-day structures. So we finally got our fermenter. We're going to be able to throw that down right here. We should be getting artisan bread now if I am thinking about this correctly. We have the ager in place. We have another fermenter that we can throw down right here. That'll get us some wine and apple juice production. You'll love to see that. There's some artisan bread. You see it in all its glory. 277 units of artisan bread for about 27K. Make 30 grand of peanut butter. Popcorn, 61 grand. Popcorn is just, it's OP. Very simple to make. Sells very well. Another centrifuge, another transport tube. We need like more sugar cane. Juicer, we do need that for this island here, so why don't we grab that. Throw the juicer down. So now we need the ager, correct? Yeah, fermented apple juice. Let me just get a double check on that here quick. Fermented apple juice goes to apple cider in the ager. Alright, so we're looking for an ager. Looking for more olive trees. Sure. More apple trees, don't need that. Gnomes would be great. You'd love to go gnomes here. Let's try not to spend the entire bank on this. So I'll just go peanuts. I think it's a safe play. Safe play, especially when we have an island that's already structured to go peanuts. So let's throw a water tank down and just start pumping the peanuts all over the place here. Mill, popsicle, gnome, rabbit, female rabbit, more corn, more fuel wheat. Let's go more fuel wheats. A rabbit apprentice. So we do get the fuel grapes here. So this actually breaks the grapes, takes away from our wine production, but who cares? This will destroy the grapes. So what this essentially does is we have 1,225 excess fuel production, right? So this means each of these grapes is going to produce 1,225. So just watch these numbers here. So yeah, we don't get the wine darn, but we get 20,000 grapes selling for 40K. And our income obviously skyrockets to almost $1 million. It's another really useful essence reward if you're going with the veganism build. Just go grapes, because as soon as you get the fuel grapes bonus, then you can literally add fuel to your farm to increase your income. Significantly increase your income, I should say. More olive trees, you betcha. We'll go ahead and take that. We don't have a crusher anywhere, but what we can do is we can maybe get... I stand corrected. Had one in my hand probably for, what, 150 turns? Making some good money here. Let's continue to fill out our olive trees. I want to get more olive oil. I think that's one of the resources holding us back from our artisan bread production. So let's rock and roll on that and fill this bad boy up here. And let's see how many units of artisan bread we're getting this next turn here. Wheat, re-rolling is getting very expensive. Fantastic chocolate factory. Now here's one, but we're not making any chocolate at all. Like literally at all. So let's grab fuel corn. Fuel corn makes sense. So let's see. We have no artisan bread. Interesting. Okay. That one's hard to explain. Somebody explain that one for me. Is it something with the flour turning into a tortilla versus, you know what I'm saying? The flour is being allocated to tortilla production and not artisan bread production. Is that what's happening? I think that's what's happening. That's a real bummer. I don't know if that's a bug in the game. I don't know how the game determines priority of product created. In my opinion, it should prioritize the more expensive product. It is an early access game though, folks. And it's a charming game at that. So we're going to give it all kinds of leeway. We're going to give it love and compassion and respect. It's a good game. It's a unique game for sure. But I think that that's a definite opportunity for improvement there. Because we were producing artisan bread. I don't know what happened. And that's unfortunate because we like to have an empire of fancy bread. Fancy bread, grapes that don't make you feel good, if you know what I mean. But sell for an astronomical amount. Take you to the moon, take you to Jupiter. Launching this thing into orbit. More fermenters. We do need those. We need one right here for sure. So why don't we grab another fermenter. Throw that down and let's get some more grapes. I want to assess. So let's kind of assess. Sunflower paste doing decent at 9K, nothing crazy. Blue wheat though, 132K. That's all that boosted production from the silos of the sunflowers, right? So not only does it make you money, but it solves your water and it solves your energy problem. And you can get it early game. It's so OP. Would highly recommend that. Grapes making $1.35 million. Holy cow. We actually have 2 stacks of grapes. This one's hard to explain as well. But yeah, it's making about 1.5 million about in grapes. And that's with the field grapes. Love to see that, folks. Sunflower seeds, 15K. That's just from our giant sunflower alone. So you'll love to see that as well. Popcorn, 61K. Apple juice, about 5K. Underwhelming. Peanut butter, 46. Fermented apple juice, 5K. And tortillas. Where's our artisan bread? Hook it up. But either way, we're looking good. We have a nice, diverse resource. And like I said, it's a shame that our strategy went from, getting in the fancy bread market, right? We were kind of this budding this budding bakery. We had high aspirations. We were gonna make some fancy bread. We're gonna do some cool fancy stuff, right? We're gonna have some fun. Gonna perfect the craft of fancy bread. Then we decided, yeah, you know what? Tortillas are easier. All you gotta do is throw the flour in the melter, and boom, you got tortillas. So why don't we just make tortillas? Apparently the board agreed, and here we are, folks, making tortillas over artisan bread. It's unfortunate, but can only do so much, and that's something we're just gonna have to accept here on the farm. I'd like to get one more ager here, but we are quickly approaching turn 200. In fact, it is turn 199. And where are we sitting, folks? Well, we are sitting at... Well, first off, we win, okay? We win. I think this build is sustainable. For how long? I don't know. You know, we're getting in the 1.5... Well, I guess let's assess. Getting a little over $2 million a turn with this. As we continue to draw, we can theoretically just add more grapes to the field, which, you know, with the field grapes and field production, has very strong potential there. Obviously, what I'm trying to figure out is, so where is the product created from all of our sugarcane? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So let me end my turn here. Let's watch the sugarcane. So what's happening right here? What is going on? So I'm not seeing any olive oil to sell either. So we get the olive oil. You saw it, right? But where's the olive oil right here? I'm not seeing it anywhere. Sugarcane is produced, it's processed, it goes to the... So it seems to be some kind of... I don't know if it's a bug in the game or what's going on, but I mean, we should be getting a ton, an absolute ton of at least raw sugar, but really we should be getting this dough here. So it's like it's not registering the sugar or the olive oil. It's like it goes in the centrifuge or one of these production buildings here, and then we just never see from it again. I mean, it changes hands with the transport tubes a little bit, and then you just don't see it. So I'm confused by that, but I think this build is totally viable, you know, bug or not. How far can you take it? I don't know. I feel like we'd be pretty stable through at least another 50 turns. The key obviously would be to add more grapes, since this production chain's all busted up. And we got all the right essence rewards to really kind of take this to the moon. And I feel like we did take it to the moon, you know? How far can you go with it, though? I think that's something that we can chat about in the comments, perhaps. You obviously need the grapes. The grapes would be the most important thing to go with here. With that said, interesting run. I wanted to see, you know, if we strictly focused on veganism, and we got veganism early enough to, right? How far could we take it? I think this at least helps us analyze that question. I think you can take it pretty darn far, especially if your production chains work properly. With that said, let's call this a video here. I do appreciate your viewership. I appreciate you stopping in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Plenty more content right here on this channel, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.